Hello and welcome to Startup. We're on Michigan Avenue right now in the historic Corktown district of downtown Detroit.
Corktown is Detroit, Michigan's oldest neighborhood, and although largely residential, it's become a hotbed for young entrepreneurs. Slows Barbecue, Mudgie's Deli, and Astro Coffee are a few of the businesses putting Corktown back on the map.
My name is Gary Brado, and I'm a documentary filmmaker and a serial entrepreneur. If you've ever wanted to start a business but don't really know how, then pay attention. Because I'm on a mission to find out what it really takes to turn an idea into a successful business. This is Startup.
I'm standing out front of Astro Coffee, and I've been to this place a couple of times. It's always packed with customers. So we're gonna go inside and talk to the owner, Di, find out how he started this place up and how he turned it into such a raging success. Let's go inside.
I can't. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I just don't have this clear.
You were there.
I was sinking. Astro Coffee has absolutely no mission statement. We just make good coffee and good food, and we love you guys.
I'm Luna.
Okay, Luna.
Ivy.
A difference in the taste of the coffee from some of the other places that you guys have been to?
Yeah, definitely.
What part of the city do you live in?
I live in Corktown currently.
You do? You live right in the area?
I
Okay.
live right in the area.
So you were living here when Astro first opened its doors?
I did, yeah. I just moved in right when they opened. Actually, we kind of moved in at the same time. So it was nice to just have like a welcome, welcome Astro, welcome Amy, sort of.
It was a combined
Sort of
welcome
thing,
to the city.
yeah.
So tell me your names.
Neil.
Caught you right in mid-swig.
It was just an all-in-all very good experience.
Fantastic. So you know what kind of coffee you like, and you have specific characteristics in a coffee.
Oh, maybe I'm not quite that educated.
Getting some water going, wetting the filter here, and what that does is removes the papery taste. I want to have the water be at about 205. We grind all the coffee to order too. Kind of adding a little bit of water, which is called a pre-infusion.
It's a long and careful process, man. Wow.
So we'll let that sit for a second.
Grew up in Ann Arbor and ended up going to school out at Michigan State.
Okay.
Studied psychology and did not use it. Out of college, I actually worked for a record label in New York and was trying to do music like everybody else. And kind of fell into an opportunity to move to London to start working at a specialty coffee roaster.
Fantastic.
So it was just an opportunity to go to England at the time, but it became something else. So you saw that you could affect people's day from the very, very beginning. A lot of these people are on their way to work. They might be not having the best day they've ever had, but you you have that moment if you're in a setting where it's very personable.
When did the decision come to move back to Detroit, and how did that process work?
I think if you're in cities for long enough and kind of working for everybody else but yourself and just trying to make rent, that's all anybody's ever trying to do, it wears on you. You kind of get tired and you start to think about places where, hey, I can get a 2,000 square foot loft. I could maybe start a business for a lower entry. Most business owners or people that are looking to open businesses are, and it's okay, are going to want it to go a lot faster than it will. And we thought that we might be able to rebound from this and get the project off the ground, and hopefully, 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, 14 months, whatever. We were really hoping, and it must have been almost a year unemployed that whole time before I realized I can't, I gotta get a job. I'm not, this is still nowhere near opening. And I started working at Slows.
Okay.
And worked there for a year and a half. Still this whole time developing what's going on. I'd written the business plan, everything that's asked of you, but we didn't have money. As you take yourself and your project more seriously, you'll find that people will start to emerge. And when you're the loneliest, it's when you feel that it's when you in fact haven't done that. Mm-hmm. And when you really start to plug away and you start to have iterations of your business plan or logos or any of these things that are starting to tell this story of what you're going to do, people will emerge. This machine is fantastic, and it's a treat to work on. So, flat white, it's in the 6-ounce cup, and we use Calder dairy that, they name their cows and treat them well. We just basically serve what we are into.
Look like everybody in that alley.
You know, architecture fees were obviously knocked down because of friendship. The logo design, again, a friend. So all this stuff, we salvaged all the materials as much as we could, you know. Detroit's got a lot of resource for that. So we just tried to be really smart about that and do as much as we could until the bulk of the financing was secured, so that when that happened, we were able to buy the equipment, we were able to buy the fridges and the things that are the bulk of your expense that don't involve design build or any of that.
The physical assets.
The actual
that make
just
the business.
physical things, yeah.
Right. Explain how the loan worked.
Well, again, I have to reiterate how fortunate and lucky we really were, because the bank really took a gamble on us. They had a checklist of things they needed, which I guess would be expectations. So all your current and previous banking history, credit history. They were very curious, you know, as to what point in the project you were at. So really outline that, what's already been spent, what do you need. You know, what do you still need to spend, and you know, ultimately what needs to happen before this can be open. A business plan, of course. They wanted to see projections. They wanted to see all of these things, but at the same time, they also wanted to see a lease. They wanted to see in writing that the landlords were going to execute what they said they were going to do.
Yep.
That probably was one of the more challenging issues we kind of faced.
You were trying to find a landlord that would white box your space.
Or just a space that was ready to go. You have a lot of vacancy here, and a lot of the spaces are not ready to rent or ready to occupy. So a lot of restorations needed, and nobody that's going to be dreaming up these small businesses is going to have the money to restore somebody else's building.
So dealing with the city, with the health department, with all the city and state organizations and the red tape you have to get through in order to open up a place that serves food or beverage.
You know, you really just got to go through it yourself to really find out what the truth is. And I truly believe we are at a different point in this city's evolution, that while there is still so much corruption to get out, there are people that have been instituted to help us. And so I was again fortunate to meet people in Bing's task force and Mayor Bing's task force that became almost small business customer service reps, almost is how it felt. So I guess to summarize, it was a lot better than not only my perceptions going into it, but what most people say.
All right, so tell me about your products here.
Well, the products are very, very important to us. It's really, really easy to be passionate and excited about what you do when you actually believe in the products you're serving and where they come from and why. So our coffee, we're very, very diligent about where it's coming from, the sourcing of it. We work with multiple roasters from all over the country as well as locally, but all roasters that are working with you know, as direct a relationship with farmers and growers as possible.
Why Detroit? Why Corktown?
Again, we've lived here in the neighborhood for these 3 years, and we've met all the people around us and have community gardens with them. And you know, we don't have to convince ourselves that it's here. It's the people on the outside that are asking us to convince them in a way. And I think the only way you can truly do it is to just do it. And I had a lot harder of a time explaining why before the doors opened, and I have virtually no problem now. A lot of what it really takes is endurance and stubbornness and not getting frustrated with any of the multitude of things that are going to come along to deter you from doing it.
Now the only thing I can think that would make this better, seeing as Borders is closed, a big corporation, would be to knock a hole in the wall here and for these guys to put in a bookstore, a small bookstore with a few seats.
Books, is that like, you mean like an iPad with books on it? Or
No,
what is a book?
No, the kind that it's made with paper, you know, and it has a cover and.
Oh,
you know,
I've seen
that
one
kind
of those
thing.
on
And
the History
that's it,
Channel.
yeah,
I saw
yeah.
one of those.
Coffee, like a black coffee in the morning, and then in the afternoon, I'll come back and get a flat white.
Twice a day.
Sometimes, twice a day.
You're an Astro addict.
I am.
You need to go into AA.
I do. Exactly. No, that works.
To summarize, your education had very little to do with opening a business.
You didn't really have a business background.
Correct.
You weren't hyper-focused on profits.
No.
You didn't do market research in the area and make sure the demographic was there to make sure that this business would be key.
Correct.
And you own and operate, I think it's fair to say, a successful and profitable, respected business.
Yeah.
Novel concept.
Thanks for summarizing that. That feels good to hear, but that's certainly how it's felt. So thank you.
So as you can see, with a bunch of hard work, some vision, a dream, and some tenacity, you could start a successful business like this as well. For more information about Astro, log on to our website and click the link for Astro Coffee. Next, we're going to head over to Launch Learning Group and see what makes their business so unique. Let's go.